Hello. This is the Vietnam Social News Update for October 12, 2025. Date of news coverage, October 12, 2025. Politics. In the realm of politics, the most significant development continues to be the deepening of ties between Vietnam and North Korea, following General Secretary To Lum's recent visit to Pyongyang. During the visit, Vietnam and North Korea formalized cooperation agreements spanning defense, foreign affairs, and health sectors. While North Korean state media released few specifics, the symbolism is powerful. This is the first high-level trip by a Vietnamese leader to North Korea in nearly 2 decades, signaling Hanoi's desire to retain ideological and diplomatic latitude on the global stage. The move reinforces Vietnam's posture of strategic non-alignment, demonstrating it is willing to engage with states across the ideological spectrum while preserving autonomy in foreign policy. At the same time, in Pyongyang, a grand military parade showcased North Korea's new Hwasong-20 intercontinental ballistic missile. Leaders from China, Russia, and Vietnam were present in the viewing stands, elevating the event's regional significance. The missile display underscores North Korea's ambition to assert deterrence capability, while Vietnam's attendance underscores its aspiration to retain relevance in regional security dialogues. For Vietnam's leadership, this is not about endorsing nuclear proliferation, but about ensuring that Hanoi is seen as a player in conversations across power blocs. Domestically, the party is maintaining momentum on internal reform and institutional consolidation. While foreign engagements draw attention, the leadership is also pushing governance changes, restructuring bureaucratic layers, enforcing stricter discipline, and modernizing state capacity. Under pressure from climate change, economic competition, and rising public expectations, the party views institutional strength as indispensable. Foreign diplomacy reinforces legitimacy when matched by domestic stability. Economy. Now, let's move to the economy. Vietnam posted an impressive 8.22 to 8.23% year-on-year GDP growth in the third quarter of 2025, an acceleration over the prior quarter, despite ongoing U.S. tariffs on key exports. The overall trade turnover in the first 9 months exceeded $680 billion, with a trade surplus of about $16.8 billion. Growth was supported by gains outside traditional sectors. Electronics, chemicals, and coffee products offset steep declines in footwear and textiles. Industrial output rose by 9.1%. Foreign direct investment climbed 8.5%, and retail sales expanded 11.3%. Yet the tariff burden is real and concentrated. In September alone, footwear exports to the U.S. slumped 27%. Textiles dropped 20%, and phone and components exports fell over 24%, while overall exports to the U.S. only slipped 1.5%, thanks to stronger coffee and machinery shipments. The pain remains acute in labor-intensive sectors. Analysts warn that prolonged tariff escalation could shave up to 1/5 of Vietnam's U.S. export volume, threatening jobs and regional supply chains. A dramatic development lifting investor sentiment. FTSE Russell's announcement to upgrade Vietnam from frontier to secondary emerging market status. That move sent the stock index soaring to new highs, with market watchers estimating potential inflows of $6 billion or more. The upgrade, expected to be effective by September 2026, reflects progress in market reforms, foreign investor access, and financial infrastructure. It strengthens Vietnam's appeal to global capital but also raises the bar. Sustaining that status will demand continued regulatory improvements, transparency, and macro prudence. Society and culture. Next, in society and culture, Vietnam is once more grappling with extreme weather fallout. Torrential rains stemming from Typhoon Matmo swept across northern provinces, producing floods, landslides, and infrastructure damage. At least 8 people were reported killed, thousands of homes damaged, and thousands more displaced. The Cao River in Thanh Nguyen overflowed its banks, and several localities in Khao Bond and Bac Ninh witnessed breaches and widespread submergence. The government approved an emergency relief package worth 140 billion dong to assist affected communities. The disaster arrives just weeks after Typhoon Bualoi devastated central provinces, which alone caused dozens of deaths, over 100 injuries, and tens of thousands of damaged homes. In the cultural and media sphere, Vietnam is pushing harder to shape its international narrative. The English-language channel Vietnam Today continues to expand programming, covering politics, economy, society, and culture, in order to project a more sophisticated image abroad. This effort complements the shift in Vietnam's international posture, not just an exporter or manufacturing hub, but a participant in global discourse. In the entertainment and consumer sectors, trends show interesting shifts. The government's mandate to phase out fossil fuel motorbikes in Hanoi's inner districts within 12 months has rattled giants like Honda. Sales dropped sharply in August after policy announcements, and many consumers are turning toward electric alternatives. Local EV producers, especially VinFast, are seeing increased consumer interest too. Such moves reflect a cultural shift. Urban residents increasingly prioritize sustainability, smart mobility, and image in their choices. On the sporting front, the 2025-26 V-League One season is in full swing. Several teams are battling to avoid relegation, while the race for top places promises thrilling finishes. Matches attract local fan fervor, with clubs pushing modernization in stadiums, broadcasting, and fan experience. Football continues to be a crucial pillar of Vietnamese identity, social cohesion, and cultural pride. International relations. Finally, in international relations, Vietnam's diplomatic balancing act is in full view through the North Korea engagements. The defense cooperation agreements are formally registered in Pyongyang media, alongside partnerships in foreign affairs and health. While details remain opaque, the agreements reinforce Vietnam's intent to maintain party-level networks and preserve strategic flexibility. The military parade in North Korea, featuring advanced missile systems, was a stark visual of ideological theater. But Vietnam's presence was a signal. Hanoi wants to participate, not be sidelined. At the same time, Vietnam is strengthening ties in the region. A new codeshare agreement between Singapore Airlines and Vietnam Airlines is slated to begin October 26th, expanding connectivity and enhancing Southeast Asia linkages. This move supports Vietnam's broader goal of being a regional hub in travel and logistics. On the financial diplomacy front, the FTSE upgrade anchors Vietnam more firmly in global capital markets. The boost in prestige may open doors for deeper cooperation with multilateral institutions, sovereign wealth funds, and development banks. Vietnam will likely push for better terms in trade agreements and investment pacts, using its improved rating as negotiation leverage. However, the external environment is volatile. U.S.-China tensions, regional security dynamics in the South China Sea, and changing global supply chain flows all pressure Vietnam's navigational space. In this context, Vietnam's recent diplomatic activism, from the Korean Peninsula to Southeast Asia, reflects a keen desire to stay relevant, adaptive, and sovereign in a shifting order. Thank you for listening to the Vietnam Social News Update. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And see you again tomorrow. This news summary is based on publicly available reports and rewritten uniquely for Vietnam Social News. VietnamNews.com is the official web address of Vietnam Social News. We are an independent platform, not affiliated with Vietnam News Agency or any government-owned media outlet.